Larry tried to kill me.
Yeah. I was so thoroughly disgusted.
I mean, think about it. Why does it make you special to do what you do?
Packers jumping around. They rush four. Plenty of time for John. Now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. Elway can run inside the 10. Head first. He 5-yard line. My goodness.
Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground and still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
There's also Brian Clady and Bob Miller. Third and long 3. Going deep. Oh, and he's got Thomas. Goodbye. Touchdown. Here we go. First snap of the overtime. The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stiff arm got him free to the 30. To the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime.
Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos, brought to you with passion, emotion, honesty, and truth. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, before I get into it, I want to give some shout-outs. D-Rock, don't hold back, Big Bill. Yeah. Anybody who's watched this show several times knows I don't hold back. I'm honest and I'm real and I'm passionate, and that's exactly what you're going to get. So fasten your seatbelts, guys, because this show, it's going to be active. Avatar, always love you being in the house. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. What's up, Broncos country? I understand and realize. And I agree with you. In Peyton we trust, and in Hackett and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much all gone. So I can totally agree with you. My son, hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate you being in the house. Always appreciate it. Love you, son. Thanks. All right, guys, let's get into it. I'm not really going to talk too much about last game, but there is one comparison that makes me feel a little bit better. Not much better, mind you, but a little bit better. Anyways, last week, Denver played the Carolina Panthers. Denver was never in this game. Not from the start. Not at all. Wilson threw for under 150 yards passing. His worst in this entire season. And frankly, I think his whole career. Broncos lost 23-10. That's not surprising. Our average for points scored in a game is like 14.5. We didn't even get that many. 10. And fell, to a record of 3-8. Now, here's the silver lining that makes me feel a little bit better about being 3-8. The Los Angeles Rams, defending Super Bowl champions, Los Angeles Rams are 3-8. Exactly. Does that make me feel any better overall? Not really. No, because we expected, Broncos country expected a lot better than what we're getting. And that's why, even though the Rams are 3-8, I could care less. I mean, they're the Rams. I don't like them. So them being 3-8 doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the Broncos being 3-8, because we did not expect that coming into this season with Russell Wilson new ownership and everything that entitles. We didn't get it. We haven't gotten that product. Now, also in that game, there was an incident. It's been downplayed quite a bit, but there was an incident. And here it is. Mike Purcell. During the game at Carolina, Mike Purcell got into Wilson's face due to the frustration of the season. But it's worse than that. Because listen to this. Head coach Nathaniel Hackett, quote, in my opinion, quote, pretended to not hear or know what was happening right behind him. Now, I understand stadiums are loud. I get that. I know that. But come on, when somebody is right behind you and they're yelling, you don't think you can hear that? Nope, not Hackett. Hackett said he never heard it. Didn't even know that was happening. Really? Really? You saw Purcell come off the field angry, brushed right by you, Hackett, went right behind you, and yelled in Wilson's face, which is no more than what? Maybe a foot or two away from Hackett? No response. Hackett, head coach, leader, supposedly. Whew. Okay, hang on. This is how bad things have gotten. A leader and a head coach would not allow or tolerate this. You think that Gary Kubiak would have tolerated that? No. Shanahan? Not a chance. Not a chance would that been allowed or happen. It would have been done. I've seen Patriots guy. I can't think of his head coach. Anyways, I've seen him, Bill Belichick. I've seen Bill Belichick take players out of the game in a Super Bowl because of this or that. A head coach is supposed to take charge, not turn a blind eye, not look the other way, not pretend not to hear. We need a head coach that has some cojones, man, that has some leadership. Seriously. I mean, I welcome a guy in a person who has a lot of emotion and just, loves everybody and, hey, we're great. We're going to make this work and stuff. But sometimes that doesn't work. And most of the time it does not work in the workplace because people take advantage. I continue. Tyler Columbus, former Denver Broncos, said this about the heated exchange on the sideline. And I quote, literally unbelievable that Hackett didn't step in. Hang on. That Hackett did not step in during that argument. The whole game, Hackett looked like he was trying to avoid his own players. End quote. That speaks volumes, guys. Does that mean that Hackett has lost the trust in these guys? Oh, I think that happened a long time ago. Absolutely, in my opinion, I think that happened a long time ago. But does it also mean that maybe, he's trying to be that tough guy and really doesn't know how to do it because that's not his nature? I don't know. But that really speaks a lot of volume when you talk about, a former Bronco player noticing Tyler Columbus. He played for the Broncos. He knows what a leader is. And for him to make that comment, that speaks tremendous volumes. Now, after the loss to Carolina, before that, after the Broncos waived Gordon about a week ago, Melvin has a new team. Yep. AFC West. That's right. That new team is the Kansas City Chiefs. He's not going to give him a playbook. Of course he is. Of course he's going to tell how Denver plays. But do the Chiefs really need that? All they have to do is look at game film. It seems like everybody in the NFL knows the Broncos game plan. Period. I mean, just look at our scores. Look at our games. They don't need Melvin Gordon to give them the Broncos plays and playbook and audibles and all that. They don't need that. But it's interesting that he goes to Kansas City. Per Tom Pelissero, Gordon was signed to the Chiefs practice squad. So he's probably not going to see action against Denver when the Broncos and the Chiefs play in week 14. And I'll get to that a little bit later. So he's probably not going to play. I don't think they brought him in for him to actually play because he fumbles the ball all the time. Why would they want to take a chance on that? I think they brought Gordon in as playbook, audibles, what Wilson likes and doesn't like, what usually happens on third down or fourth down or any down. Maybe, possibly that's the main reason. In my opinion, I think that is the main reason. Why would you put Gordon in, especially if the Chiefs are, making it, well, obviously they're going to make the playoffs, but it may make a strong run for the Super Bowl. Why would you bring a guy in who could fumble the ball away and your hopes and your chances and your opportunity? Why would you do that? You wouldn't. And that's my point. I thought and still think that they brought him in for getting to know because the Chiefs haven't played us. We haven't played the Chiefs. We don't play them till week 14 and I think week 16. Yeah, week 14 and 16. So, or 17, 16 or 17. Anyways, we haven't played them yet. So they definitely want to tap Melvin Gordon's ear and his knowledge. My thing is this. What? Is Gordon just information, then they're going to cut him loose? Possibly. But it's not illegal. Not illegal to bring a guy in that you're going to play here pretty soon, and maybe you can get some inside information like they need it. Yeah, right. I'm going to go to good point. Good point, Graham. Nice to have you in the house. Thank you so much for showing up. Appreciate it. He signed with them for revenge. And I know you're laughing, but you know what? You're probably correct. You're probably correct because he never wanted to leave Denver. Not the first time, and then they re-signed him for a year, which is this year. So I agree with you. He probably didn't want to leave. It is for revenge. And if Kansas City is willing to put him on the practice squad and get information as much as they can get, that they need actually, then sure, why not? Like I said, it's not illegal. It's not illegal to sign somebody from one team and you go there and you get some information. It's not illegal. It's not tampering. Broncos let him go. So there you go. So yeah, I agree with you, Graham. It has to be for revenge. No doubt about it. Avatar, good point. Thanks for pointing that out. It is week 14 and 16. I knew it was 14 and I thought it was either 16 or 17. So thanks again for pointing that out. Appreciate it. You are correct. As always. Okay. Dalton Reisner. Now, I like this guy. I really like this kid. But listen to what the situation is. Dalton Reisner was on KOA, Colorado radio, earlier today and said this about his contract extension. And I quote, "This is something I have expected to happen already, and it hasn't. And that has been definitely a tough pill to swallow," end quote. This guy grew up in Colorado. He's been a Bronco fan his whole life. He plays for the Denver Broncos. And now, is it ownership that doesn't want him? Is it Peyton that doesn't want him? Is it Hackett? Well, Hackett should, well, I'll get into that a little bit later. But is it the Broncos organization that doesn't want Dalton Reisner? And if so, why? Why would you not want him? I mean, this kid is given everything he has to this team, to the state, to the city of Denver, to the organization. I continue. Reisner repeated those heartfelt words again. And I quote, "It's been tough to swallow. It's been tough to swallow that I haven't heard from the Broncos to the fact that they want to keep me," end quote. Yeah, it's got to hurt. It has to hurt. And I think Reisner may take a hometown discount. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying he may to stay in Denver. The thing is this. Why haven't the Broncos reached out to him? Why haven't they offered a contract, an extension to say, hey, we want to keep you? He's offensive line. We need offensive line. We don't have draft picks, guys. Hello? Hey, hello? Hey, George Payton. We don't have draft picks. Why? Because, I'll get into that whole thing later on. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's many hot seats in Denver. Many hot seats. And I'll get into that. So, that being said, why wouldn't they offer Reisner a contract? What are the direction they want to go? We need draft choices, of which we don't have. And so why would you not talk to Dalton Reisner? Why? I understand other players, like maybe you don't want to bring back Cushenberry or have Cushenberry as your center. And maybe there's other, free agents that you may not want. Offensive line and Dalton Reisner? Come on, really? Peyton, I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm not quite sure if it's I don't really think that ownership would get into personnel, but maybe this ownership's different. Obviously, they're totally different than Pat Bowen. So I don't know where this is coming from. Is it Peyton alone? Is it the coaching staff that may not be there next year anyway? Or is it ownership? I don't know. I just don't like the fact that Dalton Reisner wants to be here, and it looks like the Broncos organization doesn't want to offer him a contract to keep him in Denver. That bothers me. That bothers me a lot. And it's because Dalton Reisner has played well. He's one of the solid guys. I don't know. I don't understand this organization. And I've said that many, many, many times. I don't understand this organization. At this moment in time, I don't. I don't know what direction we're going. I just know that we're 3-8, and that direction that we're going is south, and that's not necessarily good. Speaking of going south, well, we have, that's right, guys, the jackass of the week. Okay, jackass of the week is none other than Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is wanted by Florida police after an arrest warrant was issued following a domestic incident. On November 28th, last month, just a few days ago, on November 28th, an incident took place involving the mother of his children. No. That's never good. That's never a good idea. When police arrived at the house, they were told that the woman was struck in her ponytail, not her head, I guess her ponytail, by Brown, who threw a shoe at her. When police asked Brown to come out, he refused and locked himself in the house. Brown faces a misdemeanor battery, and no bond has been issued at this time. Now, okay, guys, I'm not defending Antonio Brown, so hold the comments. I'm not going down that road. But I do have to bring in the flip side of what possibly could be happening. Now, Brown, you remember several months ago, was videotaped naked in a pool in Dubai, and basically thrust his manhood in a woman's face. Okay, now he does this, and he has an altercation with the woman of his children, throwing a shoe. Okay, the flip side that I want to get into is this. All right, could this possibly? I'm just throwing this out there, guys. Okay, could this possibly be CTE? Now, we all know that you cannot, not you personally, but a doctor, surgeon, a coroner, whatever, cannot determine that a person's brain has CTE unless they are deceased, unless they're no longer living. That's the only way. Okay, let's go. There are different degrees of CTE. In my understanding, there's different degrees, different stages. Junior Seau did not attack his girlfriend or anything. She left. I don't know if you guys recall this, but she left and went to the store or something. And he ended up committing suicide, putting a gun to his head. Okay, that's one incident. Then you also had God, now I can't. Oh, I'm sorry. My fault. You also had Demaryius Thomas, who had CTE. He didn't voluntarily under that CTE condition to end his life. That was an accident. He was in the shower and something happened. But they found out that he also had CTE. Could Antonio Brown also, in a different category, have CTE? We don't know. We will never know until he has passed away. And I'm not wishing that on him anytime soon. Not at all. All I'm saying is the facts. That's what I'm bringing. Facts. CTE does exist. It is there. Head trauma. These guys play a physical game. I'm not condoning what Antonio Brown did. I'm just asking a question. Could this? And if so, could medical science somehow, some way determine this prior to an incident where a person doesn't really realize what they're doing? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I just know that more and more of this is happening. And then, unfortunately, when the person passes away, then we find out why. And 9 times out of 10, it's coming back with CTE. And that is alarming. That is alarming because it's happening way too often. It's also happening in the NHL because of the hits they take into the boards. It's real. I wish all the best for Antonio Brown. I hope he gets help. I hope there's help out there, some way, shape, and form. I don't condone what he did. I said that earlier, and I stand by that. I don't condone. What I do ask is, could this be related? And if so, we need to find a cure. We need to find diagnostics. We need to find something that can help these guys so they don't hurt themselves. And more importantly, they don't hurt others whom they say they love. All right, guys. Enough of that. I just had to get that out there. Avatar says it could have been a combination of CTE and any other injuries that led to Thomas's death. That's very true. Thomas did have some other underlying issues. That is very, very true. But CTE was definitely, part of it. Part of it. I'm not saying it was all of it, but it definitely was part of it. I agree. Let's see. So let's go back to Graham here. Says a decision on Reiser will be made when we figure out who will be an offensive line coach because the team player fit. I agree. Absolutely agree 100%, Graham. Dead straight. Avatar agrees with you too. So, I don't know. I want Reisner back. He's a great fit. He works he's good offensive lineman. I want him in there. I just don't know why the Broncos organization is not talking to him, not offering him a contract. That bothers me. That bothers me a lot. Okay, we're going to go to a strange thing. And I don't really know what to make of this, but it's Odell Beckham. So who knows? And this is, we're done with the jackass of the week. So that's, Odell Beckham's not in that. But it's I guess, alarming to a certain degree because don't know why that Odell Beckham was in the situation, but here goes. Odell Beckham was removed from a flight on last Sunday morning after crew members were concerned for his health. The incident happened on a flight from Miami to Los Angeles when Beckham failed, and I quote, to follow crew member instructions and refused to fasten his seatbelt, end quote. Beckham was asked to put on his seatbelt before takeoff, but that he appeared, and I quote, he appeared to be coming in and out of consciousness. End quote. What the heck? Was he tired? Was he on prescription medication? Or otherwise? I don't know. It didn't say it was a red eye. It said Sunday morning. Was he up all night? Was he hungover? Don't know. Doesn't say. I continue. Beckham was asked to, I already said that. I'm sorry. After police arrived, Beckman was led off the plane, and according to NFL Network Tom Pelissero, was not detained or cited for the incident. Did he do a breathalyzer? Probably not. What if that would have been you and me? You think we would have gotten away like Beckman did? I don't think so. I doubt it. But when you're high profile, sometimes you are not cited. You're not arrested. You're not indicted. Not anything. Just like pat on the back and said, see you later. Why would you let him get into a car? Let's say he gets into his car. Because obviously it started in Miami. They didn't leave. Supposed to go to LA. So his car's still there, or some way of getting there was still there. And if he's in and out of consciousness, did he drive home? What happened? Doesn't say. Does not say. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Didn't say the time of the flight. I mean, it could have been, dark 30 for that matter. Don't know. Didn't say. Just said early Sunday morning. Early what? Miami time? Pacific time? Hawaii time? What's early morning? Probably early morning Miami time, because that's where it was. So, I don't know. Interesting. Found that extremely interesting that nothing came of it. They just got him off the plane. Basically said, okay, well, thanks a lot. See you later. Have a nice drive home, or, sweep it off, or whatever it is. Don't think that would have happened to me. Just saying. Don't think it would happen. Okay. All right. Now, was this a Freudian slip? Was this tongue in cheek? Or was it something that Hackett had been pondering and then had to recorrect real fast? Here it is. Benching Wilson. During Nathaniel Hackett's press conference, he was asked, should Russell Wilson be benched? Hackett replied, and I quote, right now, no, end quote. Right now? No. Does that mean like tomorrow? Possibly. Does that mean Sunday? Maybe. What does right now no mean? Not the no part, the right now. Interesting that he even said that. That was the first thing he said out of his mouth when asked, should Russell Wilson be benched? Right now? No. Holy smokes. Okay, I continue. According to Mike Kliss of 9 News Denver, Hackett admitted that he is fed up and just blurted that out. Wait a minute. You're fed up and you just blurted that out? Really? I know the whole team is frustrated. I know the whole team is fed up. I know the players are, the coaches are, the ownership, everybody. Broncos country is fed up. Ooh, but to come out on your presser and say, right now? Nope. Ooh, okay. I continue. Later, when asked again, he said, and I quote, not even a thought, not even a question. Russ is our quarterback, end quote. Yeah, you backtrack real quick. Of course you do. Are you kidding me? The Broncos paid $246 million extension to Russell Wilson, and you're just going to bench him? How do you think that would go over? You think the ownership would look at you and go, wow, Hackett's throwing in the towel. This ain't good. I don't want Wilson on the bench. I'm paying him $246 million. He had to backtrack quick. But going back to right now, no. Dude, the cat's already out of the bag. You already said it. Does he mean it? Oh, well, he wouldn't have said it if he didn't mean it. People say a lot of things under stress and under heated pressure and frustration and stuff. Does that mean that they don't mean it? No. I've said things under pressure and frustration, and I meant every single one of them, because that's what comes out when you're frustrated. You say things you normally wouldn't because you know it's not going to go over well. Again, he says, I'm fed up. I just blurted that out. Well, guess what? That's what's up here, dude. That's why you said it. Because that's what you're feeling. Exactly what you're feeling. I continue. Wilson hasn't had anywhere close to what Broncos country has envisioned. So which is the real Hackett thought? That's what I said. What's the real Hackett thought? Bench Wilson or never? What do you guys say? You say that, do you think he felt that? Do you think it's the truth? I do. Why would you say it? Oh, I said it in the heat of argument. Well, that's how you're feeling. That's why you said it. Nobody in an argument goes, oh, hey, man, I'm arguing right now, but I love you. No, they don't. They say what they're feeling. Man, right now I'd like to knock your head off. That's what they're feeling when they're frustrated. Why do you think that Mike Purcell went to Russell Wilson? He's frustrated. He's trying to make his point to Russell Wilson. Hey, we're out here working our butt off, and you're going 3 and out because you can't throw a freaking pass. I don't know what he said. I'm just paraphrasing. I'm just saying that in my head. Who knows what he said? But when frustration is there, you're going to say things you normally wouldn't because you know how it stings and how it hurts. Okay. Avatar, let's go back to the Riser. Yes, I agree. I want both Riser and Miners. Absolutely. I want to keep both of them. Miners is already going to be here. I'm pretty convinced of that. Reisner, I sure hope they get the deal done. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Graham says it'd be silly to bench Russell Wilson. Absolutely it would. Why would you bench him? I mean, Rippon came in the game that Wilson was injured. He didn't do any better. So in my opinion, it's not really the quarterback's problem, although there are some issues, of course. I feel it's a Hackett problem. And I know Hackett turned over the play calling to Clint Kubiak. I know that. But there's still issues. There's still things to get worked out. Offense is I guess I shouldn't say a little better. We only scored 10 points. It's a lot bigger problem than just Nathaniel Hackett. A lot bigger problem than that. But benching Russell Wilson, no, you can't do that. You cannot send that message to him. That's absolutely unfathomable. I can't do that. Graham also goes on and says the problem that Hackett is asked the same question all the time. You're right. He is asked the same question. And I think the reason why is because nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. The Broncos keep losing. They keep scoring less than 20 points, less than 17, sometimes less than 14. Yeah, nothing has changed. Of course he's going to be asked the same question. And I don't blame Hackett for being frustrated. I don't. I mean, you keep pounding the same drum. You keep beating, going down the same path, asking the same questions. Yeah, you're going to get frustrated. I just don't think I would have come out and said right now, no. I think my answer would have been absolutely not. Why would you bench Russell Wilson? He's not the problem. We're all the problem. We're not scoring on offense. The defense is doing the best they can. We just got issues. Come out. Stand up. Be a man. Say the truth. Don't say, well, not right now. No. That just leaves the door wide open for you thinking that direction. Holy smokes. Hackett, I don't think you get the bigger picture, dude. I really don't think you get it. I mean, I'm not a head coach. I don't aspire to be a head coach. I just don't think he understands. I really don't. All right. Possible head coach hirings. Benjamin Albright said, and I quote, if the Broncos fire Nathaniel Hackett, Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, Broncos defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero, and Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon will likely be the top candidates on a much shorter list than last year. Wait a minute. All of those guys are defensive coordinators. Nathaniel Hackett's offensive coordinator. That's not working out. Fangio was defensive coordinator. That didn't work out. And Joseph was defensive coordinator. That didn't work out. So why go back to defensive coordinator? Well, in my opinion, because offensive coordinator hadn't worked out. And we all know that Dan Quinn is a great defensive coordinator in Dallas. Really, really great coordinator. I think he'd be a wonderful head coach. I also think Evero would be a wonderful head coach. I don't know too much about Jonathan Gannon, although the Eagles, they're the best team in the league right now. So obviously, all three of those are wonderful candidates. I don't know which one I would prefer. I mean, I'm leaning towards Dan Quinn. He's the most familiar name, and in my opinion, would be a great fit for this Broncos organization and for Russell Wilson. I think although Evero knows Russell Wilson because he's already on the team. So I don't know. I just know in my heart of hearts, in my Broncos orange and blue heart of hearts, Hackett's not coming back. So it's got to be one of those three. In Benjamin Albright's opinion, those are the top three candidates. I say I'll take Dan Quinn, although I do really like Evero. It's gonna be tough. But no matter who Broncos get, let's just hope and pray it's better than what we have now, because we can't go much lower, guys. We really, really can't go much lower. Okay, let's go to, speaking of Evero, here we go. For Jason LaConfora, if the Broncos fire Hackett before season's end, that's the key there, before season's end, the team may promote Evero to interim head coach with an eye on making him a permanent head coach. One longtime NFL executive said of Evero, and I quote, I don't know his name, they didn't say, but I quote, he is a rock star who has vast experience on both sides of the ball, end quote. Now, you can't get much higher praise than that. That comes from an NFL executive who knows Evero. Could it be a Rams executive? I mean, that's where Evero was. Certainly it could. Absolutely. Person wasn't named. But that is high praise and high esteem. So could Evero slide right in there if Hackett's fired before the end of the season? Oh, sure. Absolutely. Not a problem whatsoever. I think Evero would fit in perfectly. He already knows the system. He's got a great defense. Broncos have a really good defense. It's just the offense isn't scoring points. The defense is doing everything they can. The offense just isn't getting it done. All right. Here's some more hot seats, possibly more than just Hackett. Executives around the league believe not only free agents, but real good head coaches will be unwilling to want to come to Denver due to the mess the Broncos are in. Wow. So if we're trying to get a Dan Quinn, you think Dan Quinn would want to come here with all this mess, turmoil, frustration? I don't know. Maybe he would feel like, okay, if I come in, I can straighten all this out. I mean, why not? Why not give it a shot? Here we go. Per Matt Lombardo was also told that general manager George Paton's job has been, quote, put on notice, end quote. Oh my gosh. Now remember, guys, the new owners, the Walton Penner Group, has zero ties to George Paton, Russell Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett, and all the coaching staff, they have zero connection. They came in after Peyton was hired by Joe Ellis, after Peyton hired Nathaniel Hackett, after Peyton traded for Russell Wilson and our draft picks and our players. The owners are, I was going to say, well, I think they're pissed off. Absolutely, they're frustrated. They're angry. 3-8? This isn't what they wanted to buy into. This is not what they wanted to buy into. They have zero ties to all the above I said and mentioned. They don't have a problem with going, okay, George, you're gone. All right? Hackett, you're gone. Coaching staff, you're gone. We're turning a new leaf. We are starting over. I don't see that being far-fetched at all. Not by any stretch of the imagination. None whatsoever. So, here's the reason why George Payton is on notice. And I continue. George Payton is on notice due to the following incidents. Hiring Nathaniel Hackett and the Russell Wilson trade. You don't think for one moment that the owners look at that trade and go, what in heaven's name did you do? George, you gave up a first round, a second round, 3 players for Russell Wilson? Oh, well, we got a token draft. What? You gave up all of that for Russell Wilson, and this is the Russell Wilson we got? And you hired Hackett? And Hackett's not doing what he should be doing, and the team's not doing what they're doing? You think George Payton's job is secure? Yeah, right. Think again. I'm telling you, Broncos country, and it hurts me badly to say this. I don't want to say this. But this team is absolutely in disarray. Totally in disarray from the top down. And I don't mean from ownership. I mean from George Payton on down. I've never seen a Bronco team in this situation ever before. And I've mentioned many times, I've been a Broncos fan since 1976. I've seen a lot of bad years. I've seen the Josh McDaniels years and the cheating with the videotaping of the 49ers in practice. And the loss of draft picks because of that. I've seen bad Bronco teams. Not like this. Not with this dysfunctional situation ever. It hurts. I don't like bringing these topics to you guys. You think I sit back and get all my notes together and go, yeah, this will be a good one? No, I don't. I want to come to you guys and say, hey, man, Broncos are on a roll. We've won, 5 in a row. Wilson's looking great. Yeah. I can come on next week and do that. I'll do that all Friday. All my show will be nothing but, hey, how great Russell Wilson and this and that. But you guys know that would be a lie, and that's not me. So I'm not going to bring it that way. I have to bring the truth. I have to. So I am. That's the way it is. It's the way this show is. All right. Denver at home against Kansas City. Sunday night. Ooh. Nope. Take that back. I'm sorry, guys. It's not Sunday night, December 11th. Oh, yeah. It was on the schedule for Sunday night, December 11th. Not no more. Nope. Week 14 on December 11th, the Broncos at home against the Chiefs at Mile High Stadium has been flexed out. That tell you? No, put this in perspective, guys. Okay, let's put this in perspective. The Broncos are at home against the Kansas City Chiefs, whom they haven't played all year until week 14. Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City, Travis Kelce, AFC West rivals, Kansas City in first place. But the NFL does not want to see the Broncos because they're 3-8 in last place. Losers of the last 3 games. Can't score more than, Their average is what, 14 points a game now? Well, they got 10 last week, so it's probably down to 13 and a half. They don't want to see that. So they flexed it out. And they put in the Dolphins at the Chargers. Why not? Chargers are AFC West. Don't garnish people from the AFC West watching. The Dolphins are a solid team. They're a playoff-bound team, it looks like. Yeah, that should have been Denver's game. Denver should have had that prime time at home against Kansas City. But it's not going to happen because the Broncos are that big. And I'm going to say it, guys. I don't want to, but I'm going to say it. The Broncos are that big of an embarrassment that the NFL does not want them to be on prime time. That sucks. I have never recalled a Bronco game being flexed out. I've noticed where obviously they've been flexed in. I've never seen the Broncos ever flexed out until this year, week 14. That's the way it is. That's the way the season's gone. Absolutely the way the season's gone. And it's tough. So that game, instead of being Sunday night, December 11th, week 14, it's going to be at 1:05 p.m. Pacific time at Mile High Stadium. All right. Now, the Denver Broncos have signed a player, a very, very familiar player by name. Denver signs Lamar Jackson. Oh, my gosh. Are you serious? Maybe that's why Hackett wanted to bench or even thought of benching Wilson. Stop. It's not the quarterback of the Ravens, Lamar Jackson. It is the defensive back, free agent, Lamar Jackson. Tom Pelissero reports that the Denver Broncos have signed Lamar Jackson, defensive back, who has cleared waivers. Jackson will be assigned to the Denver Broncos practice squad. Now I know, guys, that was wrong of me. That was a tease. I know you guys probably heard that already, that it was not the Lamar Jackson, but I just had to do it. I gotta have fun every now and then and kind of just throw something out there. So Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens will be going up against, well, possibly not Lamar Jackson, defensive back of the Denver Broncos, because he's on the practice squad. But it was interesting. It could have been Lamar against Lamar. It'd be kind of interesting. Speaking of the last topic, speaking of the 3-8 Denver Broncos at the 7-4 Baltimore Ravens. Denver limps into Baltimore, losers of 3 in a row and 7 of their last 8. That's just heartbreaking. Just heartbreaking. Their only win in that span was against Jacksonville in London. Denver is a 7.5-point underdog, which isn't surprising. It's not surprising to me it's only 7.5. What is surprising is that it's not higher. Oh, with Denver only scoring an average of what, 13.5 points? They got 10 last week? Yeah, 7.5. I would have expected the underdog would have been at least 10. They're in Baltimore. Denver could barely score 10. They scored 9 twice this year. Why would the point spread be only 7.5? Why not 10? Anyways, all right. Do any of the players want to really go all out to win for Hackett? And has this team given up on the coaches and perhaps even Russell Wilson? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that the Bronco players are really going to come out and play their hearts out for Nathaniel Hackett, who obviously all across the league, everybody thinks he's a lame duck? And also, do you think the players are going to play hard for Russell Wilson? Have they lost confidence in Wilson? Are they frustrated at the offense? Well, obviously they're frustrated. But do you guys out there think and feel that the Broncos are going to have any type of desire to win this game? Are they throwing in the towel? Have they given up on this coaching staff? Have they given up on Russell Wilson? Let me go to some comments. Graham says, anyone who thought Lamar Jackson quarterback, that just isn't thinking. I know. And you're right. But I had to throw it out there. Come on, Graham. I had to have a little bit of fun with that. So that's why I did it that way. But yeah, no, Lamar Jackson of Baltimore is not going anywhere. Absolutely not going anywhere. Okay. Graham also says, at the very worst, they'll play their hearts out for themselves. Well, I hadn't thought of that. I had not thought of that. That's a good point. That's a really good point because some of them have contracts that are coming up. Some of them, they do it because of the game. They love the game. They love their teammates. Maybe they love their city, the fans, whatever reason. I totally agree. They're going to do it for themselves. And that's a really, really great point. Whether or not they're doing it for Hackett or Wilson or whatever, they're going to do it for themselves. And that's a great point. Thanks again, Graham, for bringing that in. Great point. Okay. Now, I don't see Denver winning this game. However, on any given Sunday, any team can win. Does that mean I think the Denver Broncos are going to win this Sunday? I've said the Broncos are basically going to win every game previously up to this point. I'm not saying Denver's going to win this game. I'm not saying that at all. Here's what I say the final score would be. And this one hurts. Even though Denver scores more than 10, this one still hurts. I have Baltimore 31, Denver 17. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. For those of you who have not subscribed, please do so. MHRT Network, as well as myself, would really appreciate it. We love your support. We love the fact that you enjoy our topics and our shows. Speaking of our shows, this Sunday is The Neighborhood. I'm going to be back on The Neighborhood. It's this Sunday. I'm going to be with Glenn Hauser. Madungus Creevy is out of town, unavailable to be on. I am going to be on with Glenn Hauser. That game will kick off at 10 p.m. Pacific time. Check your local listings for your time in your area, but do check in with our show. It's a great show. We comment on the plays. It gets very emotional and very, very fun and interactive. We interact with the chat as well. So feel free to join in on Sunday on The Neighborhood. Then on Monday, we have the Cluster Puck. That's Puck with a P, Cluster Puck. That is an Avalanche podcast hosted by Britt and Nick. That show goes on Mondays normally. This weekend, though, it's going to be pushed forward to Sunday night at 5 p.m. So the Bronco game's on at 10 with myself and Glenn. And then the Cluster Puck is not going to be on Monday this week. It's going to be moved to Sunday night at 5 p.m. So check that out. That's live this Sunday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then on Tuesday, you have the 5280 podcast. That is hosted by Madungus Creevy, his really good friend, Glenn Hauser, Boggins, and Cam. That goes live every Tuesday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then on Wednesday, we have the Wild Wild West. That features a fan from every AFC West team, Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. That goes live every Wednesday, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30. And then on Friday, this show, once again, Broncos bringing it to you honest, passionate, and truthful. This show goes live every Friday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, guys, until next Friday, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Enjoy the Bronco game. Hopefully, somehow, I can be wrong, and the Broncos will win this game. Till then, guys, take care. Bye-bye.